Hello and welcome to America's Real Stimulus Package. I'm Ken Johnson, your host, and man, do we have a great show lined up for you today. In the studio with me today is Mr. John Templeton, my co-host, Mr. Fred Jordan. We have another guest that's on the way. You know, traffic is really kind of messed up today. Anyway, we'll be talking about Black History Month. Black Business Month, and which is we're gonna find out what's that's all about. Mr. Jordan, now what is Black Business Month?
Black Business Month. Okay. We have Black History Month, as you know.
Yes, that's what I.
That took a while to catch on, and so I think everyone is participating in Black History Month. It's a great month. We acknowledge our ancestors. It's a good time to feel good, to have pride. Now we're talking about feeling better with some money in the pocket. We're talking about black business. And so we think that this is a unique time for the month of August that this country, black, white, and other, brown, yellow, blue, this country patronize black businesses because we're a part of this economy also. And so, and it's a tragedy that we do not focus and participate on black businesses.
Well, I'm so glad that you are involved in helping the public and everybody understand that. And I want to welcome Miss Linda
Lolita Sweet.
Louisa Sweet. Yeah, I know the traffic was mad crazy out there. Thank you for fighting it and coming in. So let's talk more about the Black Business Month.
Yeah,
now,
Black.
Has it been going on?
Well, we first thought of this, John and I, and I'm going to let him tell you a bit more about it, about 11 years ago. And, at the time, it just seems like it was out there, but we were focusing on how do we get our businesses up. 90% of black businesses are service firms, and about 90% don't even have staff. And so we said, here's the time to focus on this. You can always go to a black restaurant. You can go into a salon, clothing store, hire a black contractor, and there are a number of ways of participating. And John, maybe you want to expand on that, but we think that this is absolutely necessary.
Yeah. Well, when Fred came to me in 2004, he asked me to put together a state of black business because there hadn't been data on African American businesses, which are 7% of all businesses in the country, and actually contribute about 135 billion to the economy and hire close to 1 million people.
Dang.
But they're invisible. So we, as part of the report, we concluded that we needed to do the same thing that we do for Black History Month for black businesses. And we chose August because August is when people are traveling, people are doing family reunions, they're going to conferences and conventions, but they're also getting ready to go to college, they're getting ready to do back to school. So it's a big month for people to really start buying. And so what we came up with was the concept of 31 ways, 31 days. So for every day of August, we pick a particular industry, and on our website, blackbusinessmonth.com, we tell you what the industry for that day is. So there's a day for the real estate industry. There's a day for doctors. There's a day for contractors. There's a day for black churches. There's a day for historically black colleges and universities, even a day for black politicians. So a number of things that we don't think of as businesses are actually fairly large economic enterprises. So, but because of that, we want to expand people's horizons about what black businesses are, the kind of contributions that they make. The most successful business person of all time was Mansa Musa, who was the emperor of Mali in the 14th century. And there's a new report that in current dollars, his net worth was $400 billion. He he controlled half of the gold trade in the world. And you could take
that a black guy?
Yeah, he controlled most of West Africa. You could take the top 10 Forbes 400, wouldn't make it up to what he was well. And so wherever you have African people,
that's Timbuktu, where the University
Timbuktu, Gao, So wherever you have African peoples, Caribbean or Africa, you always have a central market. So commerce is central to our culture. And so we're not going to succeed as communities unless we really have strong businesses. And you come into this century, you have people like John Johnson and Ebony and Jet that really created that central market for us as a people. Took us through Jim Crow and brought us into civil rights movement and that sort of thing. So one of the things I tell people was that there were no corporate sponsors for the March on Washington.
No.
That was black businesses.
No, it wasn't.
That got those 250,000 people there. And so we need to understand that, we're not going to succeed individually unless we have a strong black business segment. Right now, our economy is $1 trillion African Americans get, and that's comparable with India and Russia. And we need a black business sector that is comparable with that. And so with the State of Black Business Report, what we do is look at all 50 states, and we rate the states based on what we call 10 key factors for black business success. And those are things that create a climate that are best practices, such as having dedicated loan programs for black businesses, making sure that the governor is involved. And most of these things are non-ideological. So, for instance, last week, the governor of Missouri just announced a new executive order supporting black-owned businesses. The governor of South Carolina has a conference that she does. Governor of Indiana has a conference. Governor of Texas, they evaluate their purchases, by race every quarter. So everybody understands that there's nothing bad that happens from having more businesses. And one of the things we want to convey through National Black Business Month is just how important this is to everything else. So if we're looking at health, if we're looking at crime, or we're looking at education, all those things get better when there are more businesses that are hiring more people.
Let me ask you a question. Now, you when you started off, you said 31 days and 31 businesses. So, and you name businesses like
31 ways,
not
31 ways.
Ways to do what? Would
what we encourage
every day? What do you do? Is it something like you do something every day, or can
well,
you explain that?
Well, what we try to do is to make it as simple as possible, because many people have had the idea that we should support more black businesses, but it never gets past that statement. So we try to design this in a practical way that wasn't obtrusive on people's normal routines. Just fit, what's something that everybody can do.
Yeah,
and we just said every day visit a black business. And so the response we've gotten is, okay, well, where are the black businesses? So that's why we came up with 31 ways, 31 days, so that, for instance, if you want to visit a black hotel, the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers, they have a website and they list every black hotel. National Dental Association lists all the black dentists.
That's what I've been looking for a black dentist. And brother, Churchwell, Dr. Churchwell, he didn't retire, and that's what I've been trying to, find.
Well, there probably will be lists. You'll have a resource.
Yes, at the website.
At the website.
blackbusinessmonth.com. And what we encourage people to do is go to the site and register. We'll send you the list of 31 ways, 31 days, and then every day on a calendar we have the web pages to link to find the resources.
Okay, now we have a photograph of you and Mr. Jordan. Now, can you tell us what that photograph is all
Well, that
about?
was in 2010 when Black Enterprise did a story on National Black Business Month, and that's been a real boost to us, let people know what we're doing around the country. So a lot of what we do is just get attention in the press, speak to as many journalists as possible to make sure that they get past the black business blind spot. You'll also see a photo of us meeting with politicians. So Representative Barbara Lee, came to, I guess, in fact, she came to bring us a copy, autographed copy of that magazine. So a big part of what is important is for legislators to understand the importance of black business and to make sure that they come up with the kind of policies that grow and sustain them. A good example, one of our biggest issues is access to credit. So the federal government has put out $5 trillion in stimulus since the mortgage meltdown. We're asking that
In 2008.
yeah,
Well,
yes.
it's not. It hasn't reached. I don't know who got any of that money.
Right. Well, we know exactly who
Yeah,
got
we
it. Wall
do.
Street got it. So what we've done is look at the Federal Reserves, and in this year's State of Black Business Report, we're focused on what is the credit demand among black businesses, and the Federal Reserve estimates that every small business needs at least $15,000 of access to credit. So we do the numbers, and with 2 million black businesses, that's about $30 billion a year of credit access. And we don't get anywhere near that. In fact, for the last 5 years, SBA lending to black businesses has declined 75%. So we're not going to be able to succeed and create the jobs unless we have access to credit. So that's our public policy initiative for August of this month, to make sure that, the Fed spends $85 billion a month on quantitative easing that they just give to banks. So what we're asking for is just a fraction of what they do every month. And so those are the kinds of things that we're advocating at the top level to make sure that the average black business has the chance to succeed. One of the other things that we're doing, one of the other key factors is cultural heritage tourism. And in San Francisco, we just got the Board of Supervisors to approve the African American Freedom Trail. And it's 400 sites that relate to African American heritage. I was reading Smithsonian magazine last week, and they talked about the site where Emmett Till was captured. And the thing that stuck out was it's a Mississippi Freedom Trail site. And I said, now, that's something. Now, Mississippi is owning up to even the worst part of its heritage.
All right.
We don't have anything in San Francisco. For instance, Howard Thurman, who was Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor, lived in San Francisco. His house isn't recognized. The church that he started.
No, come to think of it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So he's
Right.
one of the most important
No,
theologians
I've been to his
in his
house,
yeah,
a number of times.
and spent most of his adult life in San Francisco. There's no recognition of it all. Maya Angelou just died. Basically the world stopped when she died. She spent, her first 20 years of her life in San Francisco, graduated
Drove
from
a
high
bus.
school here, all that sort of thing.
drove
Was the
Muni.
first black woman to be a Muni conductor.
Right.
That's right.
No notice of her in San Francisco. So, we're correcting those omissions with the African American Freedom Trail, but it's also the reason we noticed it was that when we do the rating of the states, we noticed that there are 25 states that have freedom trails. And we noticed that none of them had freedom trails on the West Coast. So, Florida
I think the
and
West
Georgia.
Coast is lagging.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to
substantial.
us. Well, it's up to us.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys that you guys are putting forth this effort to make this change, because if we don't do it, ain't nobody gonna do it. There's also the Buffalo Soldiers that was in the Presidio. That's where the trail.
Yeah, in fact,
might wanna start.
they actually in 1903 the Buffalo Soldiers had a parade down Market Street leading Teddy Roosevelt
They
A hun-
go-
uh,
go- not
really?
guarding him. Guarding
No, 100 Buffalo Soldiers.
Right.
There's a new film that just showed up of that. So that's part
you know.
of the Freedom Trail. But the most important thing about the Freedom Trail is commercial opportunity. So we think it'll generate another 500,000 visitors to San Francisco. And part of what we've done is created a tour. And this is one of the opportunities to actually help black businesses, because we found an outstanding business here who's been in operation for 20 years, who's actually going to be providing the tours. And Leah Sweet, who is here, can tell you about, what it's meant for her to go into business and what some of her challenges have been, what her successes have been.
Well, I have been, this year actually, I've been in business for 20 years. So we're going to have to do a big celebration of.
Like he's 25.
You look great. I mean, gee,
Well, thank you.
these is this some of your business? These
Yes.
limousines.
Yes,
Man,
I
that's-
started off as a young entrepreneur. The first company I developed for it was called Bay Area Young Entrepreneurs, to inspire young people in San Francisco to start their own businesses. And this was my second business, actually. My first business was teaching entrepreneurship to disadvantaged youth in Bayview District
Oh, wonderful.
at the Boys and Girls Club in San Francisco. So that was awesome, and I transitioned into transportation industry, starting off with one car, a used car, and then trained one person at a time, one guy at a time, until I developed it into about a 12-car fleet with about 30 drivers. Challenges that I face is the recession. How do you deal with sustaining in a recession? And we've dealt with it twice. So I've downsized, but I'm still existing. So I think I've learned a great lesson of how to deal with recessions during the business economic times. So we're here for 20 years, great drivers.
That's great.
And I'm from San Francisco, Baby Hunters Point, born here, native. And so I'm happy to be a contribution to the city of San Francisco from my community.
And that's exactly what we need, because you're a role model. You're a lady for these young women to look up to, because that's really lacking. These young ladies, they need to see these programs that we're doing, because this is like the program is named America's Real Stimulus Package. You are you stimulate people when they know what you're doing. See, a lot of people may not know that you have this history behind you, what you've been doing, except the people in your area. But now over the TV, people can see this, and young ladies out there, you can do anything you want to do.
That's right.
If you believe in yourself. Look at this young lady here. She did it all on her own, or with the help of people. But it was your ideas and things that motivated people to work with you and stuff like that.
And if I can make a comment, part of this Black Business Month is for people to think about black businesses. Now, here's a limo service, and everybody goes out to party. I got a friend getting married here next week, and that'd be great for him to have a limo to do. He has to, but this is a black business here, and we can take advantage of that, and that's what we want to do, is to not only acknowledge people, acknowledge black businesses and let it be known and get that in the consciousness, not only of African Americans, because African Americans patronize black businesses pretty low. That patronage is very low.
Yeah.
And so we want people to acknowledge that there are black businesses out here that provide great services, but also the fact that there are many black businesses that are still under that veil of discrimination, not allowed to climb that ladder. And so here we can put that on the front burner, and let
Well, that's
people
true.
realize.
As my experience, I've never gotten a business loan. I just started off with my savings and worked my way up. So business loans. I did apply, but they did not work out in my favor.
See,
But I
see
continued
what I'm saying?
with my business.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the University of Texas released a study last month that we cite in our report that 67% of the black businesses in Texas are led by folks who have college degrees. They have an average of 20 years experience in their field, and they've been in business for at least 10 years. But 70% of them have never gotten a business loan.
Because they're not available.
Yeah, and that's what we have to really push on our legislators. And so part of what we've done with the 10 key factors, when we started in 2004, there were 4 or 5 states that had dedicated loan programs for black businesses. Now there's 22, because when they see
Is
one,
California one?
no. And so when they see one state has it, then they add it. But by us publicizing what the various states are doing, it creates a competition between them, and people share. And the black legislators in different states say, okay, well, Maryland's doing this, Virginia's doing this, we should be doing this as well. And so that's what we want people to do, is to go to the website, get the State of Black Business Report so they can see where their state stands up. We also have another book called Find It Fast. That's the local guide to business inclusion. It has all the information for localities. And for those who want to visit black restaurants, I got a book called Say Grace and Wipe Your Hands, which is a list of 800 black restaurants around the country. So, and I had
around the country.
I had the duty of going and visiting these restaurants.
Our time is running out. Thank you very much. We got to have you back. Thank you for watching. That's it.
That was quick.
Yeah, it goes fast.